Hello and welcome to August 2023, your astrological forecast. It's going quickly, isn't it? Very, very quickly. Anyway, let's take a look at what we've got coming up. So I think the first thing is to re-talk about, like I did last month, actually, about Venus retrograde, which is in Leo. Now, if you think about Leo, Leo is the fifth sign of the zodiac. In the natural zodiac, it rules the fifth house, which is the house of self-expression, creativity, children. I almost look at the fifth house as the kind of the late adolescent house. If you look at teenagers, particularly, they find their own individuality. They find the way they cultivate the way that they look. They express themselves to the world. They're usually very, very creative. They're doing stuff like music, like films, like the finding a tribe, but also within that context can be a slight little bit rebellion, maybe against society, which is the opposition to the fifth house, which is 11th house, which is the house of the collective, which is in the natural zodiac, the house of Aquarius. So any planets that going through that fifth house or through Leo really magnify and accentuate the whole aspect of how we fit into society's thinking process, whether we are involved in the collective or whether we would rather not be. And as I said, it's the house of the individual, house of how we express ourselves. So in that context, I think Venus retrograde in Leo is a demand for us to take a look individually at how we express ourselves within the society that we look and partake in. So that might be in terms of our creativity. What do we contribute to society? And this is a period as a retrograde of reflection rather than doing, which in some terms can be quite difficult because we have trials and tribulations of life and got to do this, got to do that. But if we are aware of what our inner motivations are and how we express ourselves and what our individual purpose is, and we know that, then obviously we can contribute to society and the collective a lot more. If we don't know what that is, then we're a little bit a ship without a rudder. We don't know what we're actually doing. And so I think this can be a really positive time of inner reflection as to, what you want to contribute to the sort of larger aspect of society, and whether as an individual you feel satisfied with your self-expression at this particular point. So the degrees that the retrograde of Venus in August starts at 27 degrees in Leo, and by the 31st of August, it's around about that 12-degree mark. So particularly if you've got planets in fixed signs, that's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, in those kind of degrees between 27 and 12 degrees, then I think you're going to be quite affected by what I've just said about self-expression and how you individualize yourself in the society that you live in. So I don't think that Venus is retrograde is Venus being a beneficial planet. I don't think it's one of those where we all feel a bit rocked and a bit swayed by it. But it's certainly, in terms of Venus rules how we relate to people, because Venus is the natural ruler of the seventh house. It also rules the second house, which is possessions and in some ways how you value yourself. So how you value yourself in relationships is going to be really kind of important during a Venus retrograde for most of us. And it may be periods where we step into expressing fifth house Leo, how we value ourselves within a relationship or a connection with a partnership. That could be a business partnership as well. The other news this August is the retrograde of Mercury. Yes, yes, we've got Venus and Mercury retrograde. That happens around about the 23rd of August, and it is in Virgo, and it is slightly in opposition, particularly the end of August, with Neptune. That's a very confusing combination there, and Mercury, of course, rules how we communicate and our thinking processes. Again, if you've got planets at the end of either Virgo or Pisces in your chart, the Sun, the Moon, or even Venus, Mercury, then you might find this a bit of a confusing time where trying to get your opinion across, trying to be direct, is really tough, and that doesn't seem to kind of happen as smoothly as you would like. So just be kind of aware of that. Also, Mars is in Virgo, and around just before that time, around the start of the Mercury retrograde, Mars is around about that 24, 25, 26, 27 degree mark in Virgo. So again, the Virgo Pisces axis is being very much emphasized, which is all about, sacrificing one's individuality, and therefore we have a little conflict with a Venus retrograde here. So again, if you've got planets in the latter half of Virgo or Pisces, again, it's going to be a little bit of a tricky August for you guys. You've got to be step back and certainly not, sacrifice yourself for other people. You've got to think about yourself a lot during this particular period, and not to react. Mars is always wants to do something, and so sometimes we can be impulsive or overreact. So just to be aware of that. Mars is rocketing through. Jupiter is rocketing through Taurus. It starts at 13 degrees, and by the end of August at 15 degrees. So if you're born, you're a sort of Taurus who's born between the 4th and the 6th or 7th of May. Lots of expansion, lots happening at the moment. If you're born Scorpio, between that kind of 4th of November and the 6th, 7th of November, again, a lot happening. Maybe too much for Scorpios at times. You've got to kind of ground it a lot here, but a lot's going on. Saturn is, of course, retrograde in Pisces. So early degrees Pisces are being hit by the Saturnian aspect. Well, what is Saturn? Well, it's about limitations, about growing up. It's about being in society. Funnily enough, again, we're going back to that Venus retrograde in Leo. So early degrees Virgo Pisces particularly, are being, Saturn is really very strong at the moment. Setting your limitations. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do that. Maybe I can't do that now. Maybe I have to change this. Maybe I have to put structure in. Maybe you may feel like you're limited in what you can do. These are the kind of Saturnian principles that come across. Uranus is still going through Taurus. Right at the end, about the 28th of August, it starts going retrograde, which it does for till right through to 2024, around about 25th, 27th of January 2024, where it'll go direct. So we're in for a Uranus retrograde. So this is sort of picking up the pieces of the chaos of the last kind of few months for a lot of us. Again, with I suppose the best way I can describe it is the disruption of society that's been around a lot. Things are moving fast, particularly I have to say in the financial sector, because Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus is second house. The opposite of the second house is the 8th house, which is other people's money. It's this financial aspects, very much a key theme of this. Other people's money, individuals' money, property, stuff like that. So that may begin to see a little bit of the clearing at the end of August, going into September, about property and finances. Maybe a little bit more stability coming from that. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, of course. Again, it starts at 27 degrees, ends slow moving, 26 degrees. So again, it's that whole thing about the Mercury retrograde, Mars in Virgo, and Neptune in Pisces. This is all very, that Pisces Virgo axis is very much emphasized this month, and it has been for a majority of this year, to be honest. You know, it's the signs, the fixed signs of the zodiac, your Taurus, your Leos, your Aquarius, your Scorpios, and Virgo and Pisces that have been the most affected at the moment. Pluto is back in Capricorn about 28 degrees, where it sort of remains slowly moving backwards. In terms of, we've got a full moon around about the 18th, sorry, the 1st, at 9 degrees in Aquarius, and we've got on the 16th the new moon at 23 degrees in Leo. Not too concerned about those lot, really, although I think the new moon is also sort of being squared by Uranus, so that may be a little bit unpredictable. I'm not too concerned. I think the main concern for me would be the retrogrades of Venus and Mercury, and that last week of August, I think, is going to be the one that's difficult for many, and in fact maybe politically, economically, because of the emphasis of Mars, Mercury retrograde, Neptune in there, in the axis between Pisces and Virgo, can always be a little bit sort of like, we're doing this for the greater good, but really is these things for the greater good? That kind of aspect to it. So just to be kind of aware of that. Normally August is kind of holiday season and stuff like that. So most people are sort of taking taking time out. For a majority of the first 3 weeks, the sun is in Leo. So again, it emphasizes what I was saying earlier, the individual and the sort of collective aspect. But it's kind of, it's interesting when inner planets go, of course, retrograde. I think we feel naturally more inclined to feel that we are being, as individuals, the planets are messing with us. Retrogrades are step back, look at your motivation, find out if it's right or wrong, give yourself time to do that, and then when it goes direct, if you can, that's when you move forward. That's how to react and respond to retrogrades. Anyway, if you like the video, please press the like button and please become a subscriber, and I will see you all very, very shortly. Thanks for watching.